figure out what your nucleus is. Like, what is it that is driving all the things?
The center.
Yes. And you can, you can own 5 businesses, you can own 2, whatever it is, or different avenues that you like to work in. But what is the nucleus driving the force of all the things, and how do they connect?
Yeah.
And for me, it was creating experiences. So whether that was through choreography, dance, performance, marketing, events, whatever that was the nucleus of my mind map.
Yes.
So that was the driving force of like, how can I combine both worlds? Marketing, experiential, dance, performance, and that was Glam Girls. You ever wonder why some brands hit the bar high while others just can't get their shot right?
Here at the Brand Bar, we've seen how the right strategy can make a brand unforgettable and how the wrong one can fall flat.
With years of experience crafting and elevating some of the most impactful brands in the game, we're here to give you the inside scoop on what makes marketing magic happen.
We're not just sharing wins, we're serving up the strategy behind them so you can build a brand that breaks the mold and raises the bar for what's possible.
This is the Brand Bar Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Katrina Joe.
And Jakaya Brown-Chow. Hi, and welcome back to the Brand Bar.
Hey, guys.
And today's episode is super special because it's all about my fabulous co-host.
Hey, girl.
Katrina Joe.
Hey.
KJ.
Yes.
So we got into my story in the last episode. Now we're going to get into your story.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is an unconventional way of getting into marketing. But I think it all vibes and flows. So tell us from the beginning what your journey is and how you got to where you are today at Hennessy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So my background starts first and foremost in dance. So I started dancing at the age of 3, grew up at a ballet academy, did all the things, competition. I was Miss Dance USA. I was on TV, all the things. And then from there, I went to college. I went to Orange Coast College, where we were the #1 dance team competitively across the nation in collegiate dance. And then from there, I kind of wanted to take it up a notch.
Did you get a scholarship?
No, I didn't get a scholarship, but I made the official pro dance team in college. Yeah. So did Orange Coast College. I did get scholarships at other colleges that I did audition at, like LMU and Kaplan University, but I decided to go to Orange Coast College because of their track record in competition dance.
Okay. Gotta be the best.
Yes. So I took that route. And then from there, and I'll probably mention this a lot on my journey, but there's always been, for me, it's not always been kind of like something, a check on the board of whether it's like this many amount of years or I need to make this amount of money. Whenever I've made a pivot in my career, it's always been a feeling, and it's always been a pull internally of like, similar to what you said, where like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. But whether it's for me, it's like, I need to grow or I need to pivot or I need to keep doing X, Y, and Z. I had that feeling, and I knew that I wanted to still dance, but take it to a higher level and go in the competitive pro dance route. So
what kind of dance are we talking?
Yeah.
So we can set the scene.
So at the time I was doing collegiate dance, which interesting enough has gone viral on TikTok these days. And I'm like, I wish social media was around when I was dancing at these competitions. I
have always recreate. Can we get a little recreation?
Right. So I'm like, I don't really have any of the, archives.
With that.
Yes. And so, the USDA dance competitions that are now on ESPN and all of that. So from there, I wanted to take the professional route, and I auditioned for the NFL in San Diego. Literally had no idea what I was doing. I was actually joining a friend who was like, I want to be a Charger girl.
Period.
And to this day, I we always laugh about it, me and my girls, because I went in with just no plan, no costume, eyebrows weren't done, hair wasn't done. I barely had any makeup.
You're I'm just here to dance.
Yeah, I'm I'm taking a free dance class, whatever. And I made it to the final round, and they were like, you need to get your eyebrows done and get these things. And I was like, okay. And I
eyebrows kill me.
Yeah. And I went
they tell me that all the time.
No, girl, your eyebrows are fire. And I ended up, sprucing it up and came, with the final round, and first time trying, I made it to the NFL and was a Charger girl for 3 seasons. I was captain for 2 of those and Pro Bowl nominee as well.
Period.
And then from there, while I was on Charger Girls, predominantly being raised by my mom, who is a Filipino mother, first generation here to America.
Yes.
We Filipinos and Asians, we love our medical backgrounds and,
you gotta
finance
be a doctor,
and
lawyer,
all those things.
Engineer.
Yes. So my mom was very much like, you need to go into medical school. So while I was a Charger girl, I went to nursing school, and I went to Kaplan University, and I got my nursing degree, and I was
I didn't know that about you.
Yes, I worked as
if I pass out right now,
yes.
warm in here, you got me.
Yes, I got you,
great.
girl. Yes. So while I was a charter girl, I went to nursing school and worked as a pediatrics nurse at a private practice in San Diego. And I mean, I love kids. I loved nursing. But again, this was another pivot where I felt another pull. And I guess this was part of me kind of doing the route that was serving, my mom and like the way that she knows and telling her like, okay, I'll follow your lead and I can do it.
But which a lot of like daughters and sons of immigrants have that. I'm sure people can relate that are watching, like have that feeling of like, I need to do this to make my parents proud.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also wanted to be able to say like, okay, I've done it your way, whether it works for me or not. You can't say,
did it.
Yes, I did it. And you can't say I didn't and I didn't excel at it. But now I need you to trust me on this. And so that's where I also felt another pivot, another pull of like, I'm not done dancing. As much as I love this, I still want to dance. And I want to get into marketing and do my own thing. And that is when I tried out for the Los Angeles Clippers. And being from the Bay Area, I was and still am a huge Warriors fan. So at the time, Aaron Davis went to the Clippers. And I was like, Bay Area, we got to get over there.
Yes.
So I tried out for the Clippers and I'm like, if I make this team, I'm moving to LA. And I made the team. I was a Clipper spirit dancer for 4 years, captain for 3. And when I moved to LA, wanting to get into branding, wanting to get into marketing, similar to what we've talked about on the brand bar here, I wanted to start my own journey and work for myself. And so I started my first company back in 2009, which at the time was called the Glam Girls. And we were a promotional model and dancer company, which predominantly consisted of alumni NFL dancers.
Gotcha.
So I was still able to be in my dance bag. We had the professional background of knowing what to do at promotional events.
So smart.
I was doing their choreography. Obviously I had the clientele, all these things through relationships. And so we started putting on our own events and our own shows. And that's how I got recognized by Hennessy.
Wow. Wait, back up.
Yes.
I had a couple questions.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes.
This is so juicy. Okay. So what you said that you wanted to get into marketing and branding, but why? Like, what was that? What was the thing that pulled you in that direction away from dance and more into the business side?
I think I just wanted to be in that experiential world. I always had a tie to wanting to curate my own events. I was always really pulled from like wanting to build community and creating experiences.
Yeah.
There's this thing that I always talk about that I love to do. And I think entrepreneurs can do it for their business as well. But I do it for myself personally. It's called mind mapping.
Yeah.
And what I like to do
you love a good mind map.
Mind mapping is to figure out what your nucleus is. Like, what is it that is driving all the things?
The center.
Yes. And you can, you can own 5 businesses, you can own 2, whatever it is, or different avenues that you like to work in. But what is the nucleus driving the force of all the things and how do they connect?
Yeah.
And for me, it was creating experiences. So whether that was through choreography, dance, performance, marketing, events, whatever that was the nucleus of my mind map.
Yes.
So that was the driving force of like, how can I combine both worlds? Marketing, experiential, dance, performance, and that was Glam Girls.
I love that.
Also being in, new to LA, that was also then a avenue that wasn't really tapped into. Sure, there were promotional models. You had, the models that would show up to events they can host. You had, whether it was girls I could host with cocktails or bottle service, all those things.
Yeah, oh, gotcha.
But what promotional models have the background of NFL and NBA background, can also perform, can host, can do, speak to different things. So it was definitely a need and kind of a lane that wasn't really tapped into at the time. And then getting recognized by Hennessy from there was incredible. And so I went through the whole interview process, and that's when I started working for Hennessy Black. So I was a brand ambassador for Los Angeles.
Recognize, because I'm sure people are watching and they're just like, I want to be seen. So 2 questions. 1, what's a tool that people can use to mind map or what I call brand road mapping?
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Yes. I mean, I literally do it I get one of those large sticky
you're
boards.
doing this by hand.
I am doing it by hand.
Yes, you are.
Because I like to see it and I need to do the things and it just gets my mind going and I might have 5 bubbles one day and then go back to the board the next week and draw another one. So I do it by hand. There are obviously, platforms you can do it.
Absolutely.
Google, all the things.
Yeah.
But I like to do it by hand.
Yeah,
and I like
use
to
Miro.
have it. Okay,
so
got
Miro, if you want to be a sponsor.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
So I do it by hand.
Mind mapping tool. Then the next thing you said, because I think it's important for people to understand how to take these steps.
Yeah.
Because if a lot of people are watching and listening and aspire to make a lot of those pivots. Because what I'm hearing is like pivot is one of the big kind of highlights of your journey.
Yeah.
So when you pivoted and Hennessy recognized you, how did they recognize you? Was this social media?
Yeah, it was strictly through social media and word of mouth.
So similar to my story then.
Yes. So I will say for, all of the brands that I worked for under LVMH, whether it was on Hennessy Black, Grand Marnier, and then the Team Hennessy that is known today across the nation, you can't apply. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people know that
girl.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, how can I apply? Where can I put my application? And it's literally word of mouth. Like it literally is, they just recruited 4 new members, I believe, last year. And they asked people in the city that are doing things like who would be good for this. And
which is great because it's organic.
Yes, it's organic. It's someone that is supported by their community already, someone that's making a difference in their community. And that is just really organically tapped in with the culture. You know what I mean? They know what's going on. They have that community behind them. And so through social media at the time is how I was getting recognized, but also through the events that I was able to put on and do throughout, Hollywood, West Hollywood, all of those areas, downtown Los Angeles. The right people were in the room at the right time. And they went around and asked people. And till this day, my boss is like, we asked like 12 people and like 10 out of 12 mentioned my name. So that's how it kind of happened. And then also from there, from working on the spirit side of thing, I also worked for Reebok for 3 years in Los Angeles. And I was the entertainment marketing manager there. I ran the Reebok showroom at the time. And then one of the biggest events we've done while I was at Reebok, if you live in LA, you probably remember this event, is that we shut down the entire Sunset Boulevard with Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
We did.
That was dope.
We launched a shoe with him. He did a live performance on the back of a truck. And then we also hosted a marathon that was following Kendrick on the truck. And till this day, one of my favorite brand activations and whatnot. But when I, went on Team Hennessy Los Angeles, I was working on the full portfolio, also on the Moet side of things. And then again, another pivot.
Yeah.
I was getting pulled and I just knew that I wanted growth in the marketing world with MH. And at the time, I really just reached out with something that you touched on before is that like, you don't have to do everything on your own. And I really just reached out to someone who was already in the building looking for mentorship.
Yes.
I wasn't looking to apply for a job. I didn't know a job existed. And I reached out to someone who was on the brand team at the time just for mentorship. And she was like, honestly, there's a position open. Like, I'll call you tomorrow. And I was like, what? And that kind of started the whole interview process, which took a long time. It took about a year. But from there, there were a few times during that interview process as well where, sometimes imposter syndrome can set in and you kind of start to doubt yourself. Like, am I qualified for this? Is it the right move? Because I knew from there, I had to move to New York. And I was like, am I ready to move across the country? I've never lived on the East Coast, California girl, all the things.
All the changes, all the pivots. Like I said, pivot, it seems to be a thread for you. And then I would also say you have this superpower of understanding entertainment and experience. How did you craft that and like tap into that? Like, because the thread from dance to NFL to all these things seems, and then to Hennessy seems to be like an eye and a feeling for how you make people feel and experience. Because even when we were talking about the Kendrick thing, like I was reliving it and refilling it. Like, did you hone in on that? Did you perfect that craft? Like 10,000 hours?
Right.
How,
Yeah. And I think with that, it came over time. And, like I said, with doing the mind mapping early on in my career, it was pretty early on that I did identify like, okay, I am driven by community and experiences. Okay. But I will say that along my career, there have been nuggets that I've picked up along the way that like at the time, I'm like, oh, this is great. And obviously I'm learning and growing. For example, when I was on dance teams, we had official media training. So I did 3 years of Toastmasters, which is public speaking and media training, which now in the long run, being on the brand side, presentations and being able to talk. And
it's taking you further in your career with your journey.
Yeah. And also with Team Hennessy, we had media things. And, so it all kind of...
Yes.
And it's crazy. In my dance background, which again, Jakaya said, Google me, the receipts are there. But like, I used to dance for Missy Elliott, Mariah Carey, Ludacris. I was a choreographer of Ultra Music Festival.
Period.
And those things, now being on the brand side of Hennessy, we're doing festivals.
Yes.
We looked into Ultra Music Festival, and I'm able to speak to those things of like, I was a choreographer.
You have the receipt.
I was a choreographer.
Qualified.
I was on the backside of the things. I was on the official Ultra team.
I know how this works.
This is how the festival works.
Absolutely.
These are the pockets where we can create experiences. And at the time, you know, if you would have asked me 10, 15 years ago in my dance career, you know,
it's like, this isn't linked.
Yeah, you know, and so it all kind of made sense to where all of these nuggets I was able to kind of put together in my career to kind of help propel it forward in this way.
Yeah.
And then once I got on the brand side at Hennessy, which I'm very thankful for and grateful for, and I also realized during that process, when the doubt did kick in, that I was doing it for a bigger purpose that wasn't just me, because at the time, no one from Team Hennessy broke through that door.
Right.
The career path sometimes wasn't always there.
Yeah.
And I knew that
very
this
siloed.
it was I was like, this is bigger than me. And
period.
If there's people still on the team that want to take that route, like, okay, this is possible. And I wanted to open that door for everyone.
Yeah.
So I moved to New York and got lost on the subway 5 million times. Did all the things in New York.
But you did it.
Yeah. On the brand team, and have been enjoying the process, and had made incredible strides with just kind of turning the brand around with, programming, branding, Viz ID, all the things.
I see you all through it, which leads me to my next point of you have such a strong personal brand and dots and threads throughout that of you, Katrina Joe. And I think that's so important because, yes, as you were very much Hennessy and you have that dance background, you also have your personal brand and how you present yourself on socials and what you're doing with the pitch deck platform and the brand bar. So how do you, and you're planning a wedding,
I know,
girl, and you just moved, like all these things, like how.
Everything's happening at one time.
Yes. How do you manage? How do you juggle all the balls in the air?
Yeah, so that used to really stress me out for a really long time. And I will admit that I have been a victim of burnout, very much so. And I think the very first time that I experienced it, and it affected my health, it affected my mental, all those things, I was forced into having to deal with it. And I think the stress of constantly telling myself of a work-life balance stressed me out in itself. And I changed that mentally to say it's not work-life balance, because again, when you juggle, there's always going to be a ball in your hand.
Yeah.
Not all the balls are in the air at the same time. So it's not necessarily work-life balance for me anymore. It's work-life integration. How can I integrate them?
Integration.
Yes. How can
RLI. Love it. I love the framework.
Yes. And how can I integrate them to where it feels like ease?
Yes.
And also to just give myself grace, because
oh, this is so good. You're such a gem.
Thanks.
I hope y'all taking notes, because I'm trying to take notes. I'm like, what? Yes.
Yes. Because I just watched a video yesterday, and this woman was talking about how she's never met a successful woman who wakes up at 5 a.m., does the cold plunges, does the journals, does the, it's all these things. And she was sure, that may work for some people, and no shade, no tea.
No shade, no tea. I can't do the 5 a.m. club.
But I want to be 5 a.m. so bad. I haven't gotten there yet, but.
No, see me at 10.
Yes, but she was basically saying that no shade, no tea. It works mainly for men. Because women are.
Of course it does.
Women work off of cycles. We have our monthly cycles. Our body goes through, a different cycle every week.
Yeah.
So we have to pivot. And when you constantly are trying to give yourself this same framework every day,
doesn't work.
It's not going to work. You have to adjust to your body, how you feel emotionally, spiritually, all those things. So I've just kind of been able to shift the mindset in that, give myself grace. I've also, as much as I do love the brand and the platform that it's giving me to create experiences and connect with people, I have never lost sight of my personal brand and what I want to do with it. And I think that's really important for people that still believe and are passionate about entrepreneurship, that may dabble into corporate America or may be in it currently right now. Don't ever work harder for another brand than you work for yourself.
Okay, period.
Yes. And
work for your brand first. When I was still in corporate, I would wake up, not at 5 a.m., but I would wake up, probably be late to work on my brand, which at the time was the Traveling Pro. Brands LLC, and then clock in.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Yeah. And I say, like, today I'm like, I have a 9 to 5 and I have a 5 to 9.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
you can do both.
You can do both. You can work for yourself and whatnot. But I also, you know, previous to this, I did have a podcast, which we were able to kind of work around schedules as well, which again was another pivot. And I think with that too, with that podcast, I think in entrepreneurship, the podcast was great. It was very successful. It did scale. It brought in a lot of revenue, all of the things. And I think a lot of times in entrepreneurship, you constantly feel like you have to keep going. You have to keep trying, you have to all those things. But there's also power and beauty in knowing when to stop.
Walk away.
And it's extremely hard to walk away from a profitable business.
So how did you do that? Like, how would you tell someone how to walk away?
I think at the time when we decided that we kind of hit the end of the road, I think the passion for it, like we were basically doing it towards the end because we had the recipe down. Like it was highly profitable. We both played our roles extremely effective. It was working, but we were just doing it to do it.
Autopilot.
Yeah, it was on autopilot. It wasn't, you know, there were times where sometimes we were like, okay, so what do we want to talk about? You know, and that's okay. Especially when a podcast is built on lifestyle and a certain time in life where your, you know, life was a certain way and your focus was a certain thing. And the podcast was very much about dating and like the LA life and all of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, here I am now engaged.
And not in LA.
Not in LA. And she's not in LA. You know, so there's nothing wrong again with another huge pivot. And if you know, your business at the time like no longer aligns and you need to shift away from it, it may be hard, but that's okay.
That's okay.
And then you mentioned my pitch deck platform, which I also...
Tell us about the pitch deck.
Yes, which I also was my pandemic baby. And I birthed it in the pandemic, and there was just,
so many babies.
Yes, so many babies. And there was a need to I remember working on the brand side of things, whether Reebok, LVMH, you're constantly getting these decks from people who want sponsorships, want to work with the brand, all of that. And I remember having to copy and paste the same questions over and over. And by the time I send them those questions and then they respond to that and they edit the deck or the one sheet, they've lost... Such a waste
of time and you're going in circles.
Yeah, they've lost the time and then they may have lost out on 50,000, 100,000 sponsorship, whatever, that revenue that they need for their brand. And I remember going to social, Instagram, and I was like, how many people know how to do a pitch deck and that are business owners? And when I tell you the influx of messages and people being like, did you create this yet? And so I did create it. And you know, with minimal effort, it was very successful and it still is up and running. But at the time I stretched myself thin and I again had to pivot. I was, you know, hosting one-on-one consultations.
Yes.
When I just moved to New York.
So taxing.
Yes. When I just moved to New York and I was trying to fit it in. And then, you know, if I was able to reschedule 5 million times, I'm like, I feel like I'm letting people down. It's more of a stressor for me.
Yeah.
So in that, we pivoted. Shout out to Naya, who's in the back over there. Who's helped me pivot to create an ebook that
there's power in the pivot.
Yes. And that you can use social, you can use tech to carry your business and work behind the scenes. And it can still be a tool to help people where you're not, you know, having to invest so much time that it may take away from other projects or whatnot. And yeah, I mean, end of the story is that I believe in the pivot. Okay.
Exactly.
There's power in the pivot.
And where can we find the pitch deck, the ebook, all the things?
KatrinaJoe.com on my website, Katrina Joe on Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Yeah, I mean, still doing things with Hennessy.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can find all the gems from the brand bar on there. Yeah. I also just recently moved to Atlanta, a homeowner. Yes, thanks, girl.
Cheers to home ownership.
Yes, and
so
that was also yes, thank you. Another thing with just the entrepreneurship journey, we also closed on our second property.
Period.
Girl, it has been a freaking year. So we have an investment property that we're going to just kind of turn into you know, it be a vessel to help the community.
Yes.
In Milwaukee. So shout out to my fiance who's from Milwaukee. And yeah, just trying to, you know.
But how do you rest and ease in all of this? Because you're doing a lot. It's very inspirational, but also are you taking care of yourself and how?
100%. Yes. So also like with the burnout and experiencing all of that, I had to realize that if I don't work, nothing does.
Period.
So I have to take care of myself. And I am a big believer on the Sunday reset. And it doesn't have to just be a Sunday. Okay. Right. You could do a Monday, a Wednesday, whatever day works just for you.
Reset.
But I am a full reset. And that is like, no phone, no social.
So tomorrow,
like, no, literally. That's why I'm like, girl, I'm on the first flight out. I am going home to reset.
I'm like, okay, girl, bye.
Yes, I got to get back to it. But like, whatever that means to you, like magnesium baths, walks outside, getting that sunlight, gym, whatever it is, slow mornings.
Love slow morning.
Yeah, just taking that time to kind of rest and reset, and just take care of yourself. Take care of yourself first, because that has to work before any of the mind mapping bubbles work around you. So,
well, thank you for sharing your journey. You're such a gem. I'm so inspired by you. Like I told everyone, like, I'm not doing a podcast with anyone unless it's Katrina Jo.
Thank you.
Just the way that you move through life and the way your mind works and thinks, and how you are able to do all the things and get to where you are. It's so inspirational. So I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you, girl. I just want everyone to know that, we are true testimony that your business background does not have to be conventional at all. You don't have to just go the cookie cutter way of check business school to this company to that. You can do all the avenues that you want and still make it work for you. So,
period.
Make it work for you and your brand.
That's it. And make them coins. Don't forget about that.
Yes.
So thank you, girl, for sharing. Yes. And until the next time, whoever pulls up at the brand bar.
See you next time. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Brand Bar podcast. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your brand besties.
And until next time, keep raising the bar and your brand.